Picture this. You're at TSA security in February 2026, boarding pass in hand, shoes off, feeling like a pro traveler. But then, the TSA agent stops you. Sir, this ID won't work anymore. Your heart plummets. Your flight leaves in 40 minutes. Suddenly, your entire trip is on the line, all because of a rule you never even knew existed. Sound like a nightmare? Well, if you don't watch this video, it could be your reality. The TSA just announced 15 game-changing rules that will completely transform how you travel, and most passengers are completely in the dark. I'm your host at Flight Smart Guide, and stick with me, because what I am about to reveal could save your next vacation from turning into a total disaster. Before we dive into these critical new rules, you need to understand this. These changes aren't happening in some distant future. We're talking about rules going live in just a few short months, and honestly, the airlines, airports, and even the TSA are doing a great job of warning passengers. In fact, recent surveys show that a shocking 78% of American travelers have absolutely no idea about the new Real ID enforcement, the updated lithium battery restrictions, or the big changes to liquids and electronic screening. And here's the worst part. These new rules come with real consequences: denied boarding, confiscated items, missed flights, and even hefty fines up to $13,000 for certain violations. So, if you travel even once a year, you need to know what's changing. Here at Flight Smart Guide, we monitor these updates daily so you don't have to. Let's start with the biggest game changer that's catching millions of Americans off guard. Starting May 7, 2025, the Real ID Act becomes fully enforced nationwide. And here's what that means for you. If your driver's license doesn't have that little gold or black star in the upper right corner, you will not be allowed through TSA security even for domestic flights. No exceptions. No, but I've been using this ID for years. No sympathy from the TSA agent. Your trip ends right there at the security checkpoint. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just get a real ID before my flight. But here's the problem. DMV wait times for Real ID appointments have skyrocketed to 4 to 8 weeks in major states like California, Texas, Florida, and New York. Why the sudden rush? Because over 120 million people still don't have a compliant ID, and they're all scrambling to get one before the deadline. Here's what you need to do right now. And this is our top recommendation at Flight Smart Guide. Check your license immediately. Look for that star marking, usually gold or black, in the top right corner. If it's not there, book your DMV appointment today. Don't wait. You'll need to bring the right documents: your birth certificate or a valid passport, your social security card or a W-2, and 2 proofs of residency like utility bills or bank statements. There is an alternative: use your passport. If you already have a valid U.S. passport, you're covered. It's automatically Real ID compliant. But here's a catch most people miss. TSA won't accept a passport that has been expired for more than 5 years, even for domestic travel. So check that expiration date. Bottom line, if you plan to fly anywhere in the U.S. after May 7, 2025, and you don't have a compliant ID or a valid passport, you are not getting on that plane, period. Next up, let's talk about that portable charger you always throw in your bag. Starting in the next few months, new lithium battery rules are getting much stricter, and violating them could cost you way more than just a confiscated power bank. Here's what's changing. Power banks over 100 watt-hours are now an instant violation. Previously, some airlines were a bit lenient. Now, it's a hard stop at security. Any damaged or swollen batteries mean immediate confiscation plus a potential fine. TSA agents are now trained to spot battery damage. If they see bulging, exposed wiring, or any signs of wear, your device gets taken, and you could face a fine between $500 and $2,000 for endangering the flight. And if you're carrying loose lithium batteries, They must be in their original packaging or have their terminals taped. They have to be individually protected to prevent short circuits. Why the sudden crackdown? At Flight Smart Guide, we've been following 3 major incidents that changed everything. First, an Air Bisan flight had to be evacuated when a legal power bank caught fire before takeoff. Then, a United Airlines flight had a mid-air fire from a vape battery, forcing an emergency landing. And finally, a Delta cargo hold fire was caused by power banks in a checked bag, leading to millions in aircraft damage. These incidents proved one thing: even approved batteries can be incredibly dangerous if they reeled, damaged, or packed incorrectly. So, here's what you need to do. We've created a simple checklist for this at Flight Smart Guide. First, check your power bank's capacity now. It's printed on the device, usually in milliamp hours, or mAh. To convert to watt hours, use this simple formula: milliamp hours times the voltage, then divide by 1000. Most USB power banks are 3.7 volts. For example, a 20,000 mAh power bank about 74 watt-hours, which is allowed. But a 30,000 mAh one is 111 watt-hours, which is banned. Second, replace any damaged devices before you travel. Don't risk it. If your power bank is swollen, cracked, or more than 3 years old, just buy a new one. It's not worth the potential fine or the danger. Third, and this is an absolute rule, never pack lithium batteries in your checked luggage. All spare lithium batteries must be in your carry-on only. And finally, tape over any exposed battery terminals or use protective cases. Spare batteries can short-circuit if they touch metal objects like keys or coins in your bag. Here's a pro tip from our team at Flight Smart Guide. Airlines are getting so strict about this that some are now weighing and scanning power banks at the gate. If you're caught with an illegal device, you'll be forced to either abandon it with no refund, miss your flight and rebook at your own expense, or face potential FAA fines. It's simply not worth it. Alright, let's move on to the third major rule change. And this one involves the dreaded 311 liquids rule. For years, we've all been stuffing our tiny bottles into a single quart-sized bag. But big changes are finally here, thanks to new CT scanner technology being rolled out at airports. The rollout has been slow and inconsistent, which is causing a lot of confusion for travelers. As of early 2026, about 40% of U.S. airports, including major hubs like Chicago O'Hare, Atlanta, and Los Angeles, now have these advanced CT scanners in at least some of their security lanes. If you're going through one of these lanes, you no longer have to take out your liquids or your large electronics like laptops and tablets. You can leave everything in your bag. This is amazing news, right? It can speed up the security process by up to 30%. But here's the catch: it's not everywhere. The other 60% of airports, especially smaller, regional ones, still use the old X-ray machines. And even at the big airports with CT scanners, not every single lane has one. You might be in a CT lane on your departure, but an old-school lane on your return trip. This inconsistency is where travelers are getting tripped up. We've seen reports of people getting used to leaving everything in their bag at their home airport, only to get yelled at by a TSA agent and forced to repack everything at their connecting airport. It holds up the line and causes a lot of stress. So, what's the Flight Smart Guide strategy for this? It's simple. Always be prepared for the old rules. Until every single airport and every single lane has a CT scanner, you should pack your liquids in a clear, quart-sized bag, ready to be pulled out. Keep your laptop easily accessible. When you get to the front of the security line, look for signs. The new CT lanes are usually marked with signs that say "Leave electronics and liquids in your bag." If you don't see that sign, assume you have to take everything out. This prepare for the worst, hope for the best approach will ensure you're never caught off guard. The fourth major change, about something we all love to bring back from vacation: food. The rules on bringing food through TSA have always been a little murky, but now they're getting clearer and, in some cases, much stricter. The new guideline is this: if you can spread it, it's a liquid. This means things you might not have thought of as liquids are now subject to the 3.4-ounce or 100 milliliter limit if you're in a non-CT scanner lane. This includes things like peanut butter, hummus, dips, jams, and even creamy cheeses like brie or camembert. We've heard countless stories of people having to throw away expensive jars of gourmet mustard or artisanal honey because they were over the limit. One traveler even told us they had to surrender a birthday cake because the frosting was deemed a spreadable liquid. Solid foods are generally fine. You can bring a sandwich, a bag of chips, or a whole apple through security without any issues. But the moment it becomes a paste or a spread, the liquid rule applies. The TSA's logic is that these spreadable items can have a similar density to certain prohibited materials, making them difficult to screen with older X-ray technology. So, our advice at Flight Smart Guide is to be cautious with any food items that are completely solid. If you absolutely have to bring that special jar of jam home, either check it in your luggage or buy a travel-sized version that's under 3.4 ounces. Or, even better, ship it home before you leave. It might cost a few extra dollars, but it guarantees your delicious souvenir will make it back safely without being confiscated at the security checkpoint. Don't let your foodie finds become a TSA casualty. These are just the first few of the 15 major changes coming your way. We've covered Real ID, lithium batteries, the new scanner inconsistencies, and the spreadable food rule. Each one of these has the potential to ruin your trip if you're not prepared. But don't worry, we're going to cover all of them. Coming up next, we'll talk about shocking new restrictions on certain medications, how biometric scanning is changing the boarding process forever, and a new fine for oversized carry-on bags that airlines are enforcing at the gate. Think you know the airport security rules? Well, get ready, because everything is about to change in 2026. The simple travel rulebook we've known for years is being completely rewritten, and if you're not prepared, you could be facing confiscated items, missed flights, and a whole lot of stress. I'm here from Flight Smart Guide, and we've been tracking these changes across the globe to give you the ultimate guide to navigating the airport in 2026. Let's dive into the 15 critical updates you absolutely need to know. First up, let's talk liquids. You thought the 100 milliliters rule was straightforward. Think again. This is where it gets messy. The EU had a big plan to get rid of the 100 milliliters limit by 2025 using new high-tech scanners. But guess what? Those scanners failed critical security tests. The result: as of January 2026, the 100 milliliters rule is back in full force at every single EU airport. Over in the UK, it's just as confusing. 6 airports, including London City, Aberdeen, and Newcastle, brought back the old 311 rule after briefly getting rid of it. Meanwhile, the United States is sticking with 311 with no changes planned. And in the Middle East and Asia, it's a total mix. Some airports allow larger liquids, others don't. So what does this chaos mean for you? It means if you're flying through multiple countries, you have to check the rules for each individual airport. My top recommendation from Flight Smart Guide: just stick to 100 milliliters containers, always. Even if your first airport allows more, your connecting one might not. We covered a story last month where a passenger flew from London to Paris to New York. They got through London security with a 150 milliliters moisturizer, but it was confiscated during their connection in Paris. Don't let that be you. Better yet, switch to solid alternatives like shampoo bars, toothpaste tablets, and solid deodorant. They bypass all liquid rules. And definitely download the MITSA app. It gives you real-time liquid rules for your specific airport. When all else fails, buy your liquids after security. Yes, it's more expensive, but it saves you from all the confusion. Next, let's talk electronics. For years, the rule was simple. Laptops and large electronics come out of the bag. But starting in April 2026, the TSA is rolling out a new tiered screening system. Here's how it works. Low-risk devices like smartphones, small tablets, and e-readers can stay in your bag. Medium-risk devices, like most laptops, gaming consoles, and professional cameras, might need to be removed. And high-risk devices, such as large laptops over 15 inches, drones, and any device with exposed circuits, must be removed for additional screening. Why the change? The TSA's new 3D CT scanners can see inside your bags more clearly, but only if your electronics aren't all piled on top of each other. So, our advice at Flight Smart Guide is to organize your electronics in separate compartments. If you're ever unsure, just take all of them out. It's better to be safe than to cause a delay. And be prepared for longer wait times from April to June 2026 as airports adjust to these new protocols. The best way to bypass all of this, get TSA pre-check. If you're a member, you can keep all your electronics in your bag, making this rule change totally irrelevant for you. We highly recommend it if you fly more than twice a year. Now for the most controversial change of 2026, facial recognition. By summer 2026, the TSA is expanding this technology to over 400 airports nationwide. Instead of showing your ID and boarding pass, you'll just walk up to a camera, it'll scan your face, and you're good to go. It sounds convenient, but there are some serious catches. There are huge privacy concerns about how your biometric data is stored and for how long. The opt-out process is confusing, and technical issues are common. Studies have shown higher false rejection rates for people of color, and things like glasses or hats can trigger failed scans, leading to long delays. But here's what you can do, and we verified this directly with the TSA. You can opt out. The TSA is legally required to offer a manual screening alternative. Just tell the agent, I opt out of biometric screening. They won't advertise this option. So, you have to know your rights. But be aware, opting out will take longer. So, if you plan to do this, make sure you arrive at the airport extra early. Alright, let me hit you with 5 more quick, but critical changes for 2026. Rule number 6, medication rules are tighter. Liquid meds over 3.4 ounces now need you to notify the TSA before screening. Always bring prescription labels or a doctor's note. Rule number 7, food restrictions are updated. Things like peanut butter, honey, and jams are now officially considered liquids. Solid foods are fine, but expect extra screening. And any international fruits or vegetables will be confiscated, with possible fines. Rule number 8, smart luggage battery removal is now strictly enforced. If the battery can't be removed, the bag can't fly. We've seen this happen at the gate. No exceptions. Rule number 9 is good news for families. Children under 12 can now keep their shoes and light jackets on in both standard and pre-check lanes. And finally, rule number 10, there's now a 12-ounce limit on powders like baby powder, protein powder, and makeup. Go over that and you're looking at extra screening or confiscation. Now, if you're flying internationally, listen up. Rule number 11, ETIAS is mandatory for Europe starting in June 2026. Americans will need a €7 authorization. Apply online at least 72 hours before your trip. Rule number 12, the UK's ETA requirement has been expanded. You'll now need it even just for transiting through a UK airport. Rule 13, Japan now requires Visit Japan web registration before you go. Pre-declaring customs online will save you a ton of time. Rule number 14. Australia's ETA processing times have been extended to 48 hours, so apply at least a week in advance. And Rule 15. Global entry renewals are facing a massive backlog. We're talking a 6-month wait. If your membership expires anytime in 2026, renew it now. So there you have it, 15 major airport rule changes that will completely transform travel in 2026. Ignoring these updates is a recipe for disaster. But if you take action today, you'll breeze through security while everyone else is panicking. Here is your Flight Smart Guide action checklist. Check your ID to make sure it's Real ID compliant. Inspect your power banks. Download the TSA app. And if you're headed to Europe or the UK, apply for your ETIAS or ETA now. And of course, subscribe to Flight Smart Guide for weekly travel updates you can actually use. Trust me, 2026 is just the beginning. Airport rules are changing faster than ever, and we're here to keep you ahead of the chaos. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're here to help you travel smarter and fly with complete confidence. Safe travels, and remember, the best trip is the one where you're prepared for everything. See you in the next video.